All right, today we're going to talk about how to multiply polynomials. Now, typically, we are used to the distributive property or multiplying two binomials together, or two terms that have two terms within them, two sets of parentheses with two terms in them. And I've told you that I don't really like the word FOIL, and this is why. A lot of times we learn distributive property using FOIL, and it can be helpful for this situation, but FOIL will not help us over here in number 2. So let's think of distributive property. What are we doing? We are taking our first term and we're multiplying that first term to each term inside the next set of parentheses. And so let's do that. 6x times x is a 6x squared. 6x times this positive 4 is a positive 24x. And then I take my second term, or my next term, this negative 2, and multiply it to each term in the next set of parentheses. And so negative 2 times x would give me a negative 2x. And then negative 2 times 4 would give me a negative 8. And then what we remember, hopefully, is that we combine any like terms that we have. Well, in this case, we have two terms in the middle. So my 6x squared gets brought down. 24 minus 2 is a positive 22x. And then this minus 8 gets brought down. Now, with other polynomials, instead of multiplying a 2 by 2, sometimes we can multiply a 2 by 3, or in this case, a 3 by 3. And so when we multiply the 2 by 2, we got 4 terms, because 2 times 2 is 4. Over here, though, a 3 by 3, 3 times 3 is 9. That means when we go and we distribute everything, we're going to get 9 terms total. And then after we find any like terms and things like that, that'll reduce down. But let's follow our steps. So our first term, x squared, is going to be distributed to each term, all 3, in the next set of parentheses. So x squared times 4x squared, that gives me 4x to the 4th. When we multiply variables together, you add their exponents. So 2 plus that 2 is going to give me a 4. X squared times a negative x gives me a negative x to the 3rd. X squared times a positive 5x gives me positive 5, gives me a positive 5x squared, or to the 2nd. And now I have to do that same thing with not only the second term, but also the third term. So my second term, 2x times 4x squared, gives me a positive 8x to the 3rd. 2x times a negative x would give me a negative 2x squared. 2x times a positive 5 would give me a positive 10x. And then finally, that third term, finishing out the distributive property, negative 3 times 4x squared would be a negative 12x squared. Negative 3 times a negative x, so negative times negative is positive, so it would give me a positive 3x. And then negative 3 times a positive 5 would give me a negative 15. Okay, that's a lot. There are 9 total terms, because 3 times 3 is 9. But it's not too bad from here then to find any like terms and bring them straight down. And so this 4x to the 4th does not have another like term, so we're going to bring that straight down. However, we have a negative x to the 3rd, a positive 8x to the 3rd, and then as we look, that's it. So negative 1 plus 8 would be a positive 7, so plus 7x to the 3rd. So again, I want it in standard form. I want it in order from highest exponent down to the lowest exponent. Now let's look at x squareds. We have a positive 5x squared, a negative 2x squared, and a negative 12x squared. So I have 3 terms. So let's just be careful, work from left to right. Positive 5 minus 2 is a positive 3. Well, that positive 3 minus 12 would be a negative 9. So this becomes a negative 9x squared. Finally, I have a positive 10x and a positive 3x. So 10x plus 3x would be a positive 13x. And then our very last term right here is this negative 15 that just gets brought down. And so we should have used all 9 terms, and when we simplify or reduce, in this case, we were left with 5 terms. So this is our final answer, written in standard form.